Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode number 32 of the Stevenage Football Club podcast, hosted by myself and Borough fan Matt Farley, along with guests of the podcast, discussing everything Borough, everything League Two, every week of the season. Now, it's been a couple of weeks because we had a game cancelled against Walsall a couple of weeks ago, and we've had one game since. I'm joined by two very popular guests, and when I mean popular,
especially in a good way,
one of them is a celebrity. It's not a guest anymore. I think we should start paying this individual to come on the podcast. Firstly, a big welcome back to Donnelly's 11 captain, and he's going to be shameful for saying Donnelly's 11 captain because it's going to get beat big time. Reece Donnelly, Reece, welcome back on the podcast.
Thank you for having me back on. It's nice that you can be bothered this week.
Last week was just postponing.
We'll forgive you.
I've been training a lot as well recently. I've lost 7 pounds.
I've got another lot of bad football to moan about, so I'm happy.
Well, 10 games to go. We're in a bit of a predicament, but hopefully our Stevenage can prevail and we can all celebrate in Newcastle.
Absolutely.
Woo! Yeah, but Reece, good to have you back on, mate. It's been a couple of weeks. We've got a special guest on the podcast today. Now, this guy, I'm just going to really quickly talk about it. He doesn't only bring support, he brings 1 million Twitter views. So a massive welcome to half of the Proclaimers, celebrity and Borough fan, Danny Lusby. Danny, welcome.
I'm happy to be here again. It's been a long time since the last come on the podcast.
So coming in.
I'm delighted to call myself a celebrity.
How does it feel to be a celebrity?
I'm shocked.
So
I did not expect it. I did not expect to get so many views on Twitter. I don't know who thought of the idea of making the video.
Matt,
do you know what?
I think it was Matt.
Yeah.
It was me.
I got home and everyone's going, what the hell is this? What's happened here? I'm like, oh. What's happened?
Do you know what it was? So for the listeners, we all had a little bit of the boozy trip on Saturday, seeing Stevenage up north.
A little bit.
Lost 3-1, but we got drunk anyway. And on the way up, I don't know what it was, we had quite a few beers, didn't we? And we were on the train, I don't know what it was, we just saw these revolving opening and closing doors in the first class cabin of the train, didn't we? And one of them, I think, said, what was it? Single man, reveal yourself. So I was like, do you know what? And Danny was up there and Georgie wanted to do it at the time. I said, go in there and I'll video it. I'll video Georgie coming out and Danny being the Paddy McGuinness.
As well. And
so we did it. We videoed it. I was like, you know what? We were drunk at the time. I was like, I'm going to put it on social media. Right?
Actually, should we play the video?
Well, do you know what? I think we could at the end, actually. But we did not know. I put this video up, and for the listeners, it got, I think it was 200 views in like an hour or something like that. I thought, didn't think anything of it. Thought, great video. We had a good few laughs. Done, right? Saw the game, picked up my phone, got back on the train, saw it had 1,000. I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. And bear in mind, we take me out in it. And coming back on the train, kept looking, growing. Woke up next morning, 20,000. I thought, this is... Oh, wow, all right, this is getting a bit of traction, right? Followed it throughout the day.
To be fair.
It was. Followed it throughout the day on Sunday. Next minute, 20,000 became 50,000. Then it became 100,000. Then it became 250,000. And I started thinking, oh my God, what is going on? We've put a video out there that has got 250,000 views. It went 500,000, 750,000. And as we sit here now, it is 50,000 away from 1 million views. And it is just ridiculous. So Danny Lusby is AKA Paddy McGuinness in the video. If you haven't seen the video, please go and watch it. We've received mixed comments. Yeah. We've received some brutal ones.
Seen it himself.
Even Paddy McGuinness, the man himself, commented, get in the Borough. So obviously Paddy knows of our special football club. But it is, wow, what a moment. And Danny, I'm happy for you, mate. You're a celebrity in the club.
I did not expect it either. I just did the video and thought it's for a laugh. Why not do it? Next morning, I'm a catch. Basically.
Danny's a cat. Bring on Blackpool.
Bring on Blackpool.
That's your chat up line now. Do you know that? Oh yeah. Have you seen Take Me Out, the Stevenage Football Club podcast famous Twitter video. Imagine if they went, oh yeah, you were the guy up there doing the Paddy McGuinness.
Yeah.
Danny's
Proclaimers.
Danny's
So
in, mate.
basically, when we got to Blackpool, me and Georgie are going to go into the karaoke bar, pissed out of our heads, and we're going to be singing 500 Miles.
What, and put the Scott Cuthbert bit in there as well?
Yeah? And you're going to film it, Matt.
I'm going to film it. I'm going to go
And
for
we're going to get 2 million views this time.
So the millions of people that have seen this video, here are your two hosts and celebrities. What a video. I've got to be honest, I was in tears watching it. It's so funny. But welcome back, Dan. It's great to have you back on, mate.
Always a pleasure.
Now, boys, it's been a couple of weeks since we've last done the pod. We had a game cancelled against Walsall, Warlock Pitch, which has been rescheduled for a vital game in hand for us, which on a vital week, which looks like. We've just played Crewe, lost 3-1. Obviously, we all know the disappointments of that. Scoring, well, funnily enough, in the 90th minute to nick a goal, but no result. We're still bottom, 22 points, 8 points adrift, and we are finally into 10 games left of the season. What are we feeling, boys? Reece, I'll start with you. 10 games to go. We all know the issues this season. Are we going to find some form, bear in mind the really important game in hand and the winnable matches we've got to keep our beloved Stevenage in League 2 and in the Football League?
It's becoming increasingly harder to find comfort in this season and what's left. I mean, no one expected us to win at Crewe, but in the manner we did, it wasn't fantastic. I just can't help but look at our run. I can't help but look at the cloud covering Macclesfield and feel there's still a chance. Look, we're three wins, and we're in a real good, probably in the better position. Obviously, we've had 3 wins all season, so it's a bit more difficult. But end of the day, it only takes 1 goal to win a game, and it only takes 1 win to change a season.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? Because, you know, we've got 10 games to keep our beloved Stevenage Football Club in as a Football League club. And I think we look at the games and we think... I think the one thing for me is they're winnable games. You know, if you look at the games that we've got, I think you said this too on the weekend, Reece, it's consecutive order
23rd.
Up. Do you know what I mean? It's playing those teams.
23rd, 22nd, 21st, 20th, 19th, 18th.
I mean, if we look at that, every single one of those games are winnable. This Saturday against Newport, after their loss last night, is very winnable, and we want to win that.
We should win.
We should, and for me, as a fan of Stevenage, as we all are, I look and I think, I believe we can do it. Do you know what I mean? I believe we can do it. I know that people are saying, well, we're 8 points adrift. We've won 3 games all season, which is true. But if we can, I work this out, if we win the game in hand and beat Macclesfield, without Macclesfield having a play or win a game, that automatically puts us 2 points behind them. So if we can just get a few wins outside of those 2 games, that gives us a chance of staying up.
Looking at the court laws, and I can't believe this season has come to it, it appears that Macclesfield may or should, from what I can see, be deducted 10. So
that'll leave us 2 points ahead.
That'll leave us 2 points ahead. So, and I can't believe this season has come to that. Hoping other teams get.
Well, I mean, or the coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Well, I mean, Danny, I'll come to you. What do you think, mate? 10 games to go. Reece has mentioned the point deductions, which can play a big part into our survival.
Yeah.
We've got winnable games. We've got this coronavirus thing going around where there's loads of rumours about computer predictors and games behind closed doors. Are we going to stay up with 10 games to go, knowing that we've got really good fixtures?
Well, it's looking unlikely at the moment, but 10 games might not sound a lot, but it's enough to stay up.
It's a lot of games.
We've got Macclesfield coming up, we've got Morecambe, we've got Newport Saturday, we've got the game in hand, winnable games there. We've still got to go to Oldham as well. We need to make them games count.
We do, don't we?
Because if we don't, then we are going to suffer and we're going to go down.
I agree, yeah.
I know Crewe, I took that quite well because I knew we wasn't going to win. I actually predicted we'd lose 3-1, and we did. some of the players came over. If you were there, and I think you was there as well after the Crew game.
Yeah, it was nice of him to come over, wasn't it? The players,
yeah, and Revs as well. He apologised for the performance and that, we haven't really had a manager this season that did that.
It's crazy, isn't it, to think we've had 4 different appointments in. I mean, I've never seen anything like it as a Borough fan. 4. I mean, and within those appointments, we've had Maria, Wesley. It's just, I've never known a season like it. I've got to be completely honest. If we stay up,
I think we'll do all right next season.
I think we'll do well, because if we're not going to go down this season, I don't think we ever would. Do you know what I mean?
Momentum carries, doesn't it?
It's important.
So look at
Exactly. Yeah. Well, do you know, I actually made a point actually a few weeks ago saying if we stay up, I'm not so sure it'd be different. But do you know what? Do you remember Cheltenham last year? They were great. Look at them now. So it's almost like that summer. That summer can change. So you know what? I believe if our Stevenage can stay up, I actually think we'd go on to be very successful. But can we stay up? I believe we can.
There's a lot of work to do.
Look, we've got to win that game in hand. We've got to win, and we've got to beat Macclesfield. We have to win those games. If we don't win those games, then
I don't think personally I can give up hope to at least the Macclesfield game, because just as I said, one game changes a lot in terms of mentality, and the games. I think so much of the problem for us this season has been a mentality thing. So if we can almost shift the pressure over, I think that could be huge.
I agree. I said this, almost if Macclesfield get deducted points, if we can get a couple of wins in the bag and Macclesfield drop points, then the pressure's now going to be back on those teams, and we can kind of, again, use that kick on
and that'll boost
to kick on. There's a week of fixtures. Obviously, we've got Swindon at home next Tuesday, which is a difficult one. But I was looking at fixtures today. Scunthorpe, Walsall, Oldham, that week is just, with Morecambe, that
Great
week is
to pick up
just...
some points, isn't it?
And we've got 6 home games still left. I've only got 4 away games. We've got 6 home games to play. So I believe we can do this. I think a lot of people have given up, but 8 points, a game in hand, and we're playing a lot of those teams. I believe we can do it, but you've got to start winning games. We haven't won a game in 10?
10.
10
Question to the floor. Have you seen enough from Revs management to suggest we can do that?
To be honest,
games, really.
do you know who I actually think the player is to save us? Danny Newton.
Agreed.
Shall I tell you why? Actually, funny enough, I was having this chat with someone at work the other day. So it's been very evident that not only our forward line has been poor, but the midfield, there's been an equal amount of issues, isn't there? Right? Yeah. And with Danny Newton, he's the type of player to create his own chances and score them. So if you look at the Swindon FA Cup goal, do you remember when he got the ball and he beat like 7 men and went bang goal? The Crawley one in the league at home when we drew 1-1, got a really good point, and he picked the ball up and beat 4 players and then went bang goal. Yeah. He's that type of player who will come back, create his own chances and score, which has been a huge issue this season. So
he can frighten defences, he can run at them.
I mean, Reece, is he fit? Is he? I know he's back in training, isn't he? But
like,
no, but you know the insides and outs.
I'm the inside man. Talking of Scott Cuffett, I spoke to Scott in the bar in Crewe on Saturday, and he said next week or 2.
So hopefully we've got Dabo's coming back as well.
I'm led to believe
we missed Dabo. We did.
Like Revs said, he was in training on the Thursday, so I think they just want to be a bit careful, because they don't, like the previous injury was because of him coming back too soon. Yeah. So you've got to manage it correctly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because in my honest opinion, I don't know what you think, Danny, I actually think we have got good players, surprisingly. I think Charlie Carter's been a real asset this season. I think he's our joint top goal scorer top goal scorer. He's got another goal against Saturday.
Season, I think, with Farmers.
I like to think...
Do we have to vote for one?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. I like to think Dan Kemp's a good player. I think he's got a lot of ability.
Dabo as well.
Have we got a good enough team to stay up, Danny?
Yeah, of course. All we need, I think, it's just the mentality. That's all it is. And I think the confidence is low at the minute. We need to build that confidence.
Need a win to spark reaction.
We need belief, in other words.
The team we set out on Saturday can win your games. And Well, like Luther was poor Saturday, let's be honest. But he's capable of much better than that. Same for Listy, wasn't his best game, but he can make much more of an impact
I like
for that.
this. He's a very good player.
Players like that, and I think, look what happened when we scored. We dominated the rest of the 7 minutes continued. Sometimes it's just, I'm sure half of it is just a mentality thing. Obviously, there's defensive errors and etc. and tactical issues and need to be worked out. But in general, I think so much of it is a mentality thing, and I don't think it's not even a case of not trying. I think 99% of the players have played in the past 20 or so games. It's actually hurting to watch because you know they're capable, and as I say, 99% of them are trying, and
maybe they just tried too hard.
I feel pity more than malice for them, and I like we spoke to some of the players at full time, and it genuinely hurts because.
Yeah, I did feel quite emotional actually.
Do you know what? I feel for those boys actually.
When Leesley turned around and says, 10 games left, let's keep going.
Yeah, I feel for him because you know what? I tend to find League Two's all about momentum, and if the team can get a run of really good performances and results, things can get better and better and better. But when and we've been all season, we've been on this downhill momentum, and things just get worse and worse and worse. And then players make mistakes that they shouldn't be making, like the Chris Porter header. He's on his own of 5 yards. Normally, a good, confident Ben Nugent's probably with him heading that away. But with the amount of momentum slide that we've been on, those little things unfortunately happen. I feel for the players. And I just want to make this point. They got a lot of stick about not trying.
Yeah,
I don't think it's not trying.
Especially Nugent. I feel sorry for Nugent. Yeah, the amount of criticism he's got.
I agree.
He's not a bad player, Ben.
I don't think it's a case of not trying. I just think that, look, those players, Crewe are a very good side, and Crewe have won a lot of home games this season. They beat us up 5-1. And my point is, it's not trying. At the minute, things just haven't been good enough. The players have had a lot of baggage this season in terms of the amount of losses, the amount of poor performances, the amount of different managers that have overtaken the team. And I think it's one of these things where the players are trying, but things are going wrong because of lack of confidence and mistakes that are happening regularly. I don't think it's not trying. They got a lot of stick for that on the weekend.
For example, when List went through 1-on-1 and he just hesitates and panics, and I think it was 7 minutes later it's 3-0. I think trying effort and heart are two different things, and I think so many of the boys are quite dejected at the minute, and almost the cup final mentality that you have to start up. Every game is as important as the next now.
Especially with the last 10.
There are absolutely no free hits, and if we can up that a little, and if I know I hesitate to say this, but just support them for the next 10, then deal with what the result is. Then we can do the post-mortem, because right now everyone, and that's everyone at the club, everyone in the playing squad, everyone on the terrace wants us to stay in this.
Yeah, exactly. We're a football club that worked too hard to get into this position, and to throw it away just from 10 years.
It took us long enough to get in the Football League in the first place.
Exactly. What the banner said, destiny will always take over. We were destined to get in the Football League for the denying of it in 1990s and all the stuff that we had to go along with getting in the league. We're destined to do it. Again, I think everyone needs to back the club. I was a little bit disappointed with the support on Saturday, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
I think that campaign,
not in terms of noise, because I thought that was,
of course, that campaign that was started a few weeks ago was to unite our club, which it did. But I've got to be honest, I think it really did take a real 2 big steps back on Saturday with some of the things I heard. Not going to go too much into it before kick-off. Some of the things after, I think it was an absolute disgrace. Not going to name names or get into it big time, but I think it's an absolute disgrace. I think it's a disgrace that people want to say that people aren't allowed to clap. I think that's a disgrace. I also think it's a disgrace for people saying that they should be clapping. Look,
Yeah,
do
yeah,
what you want to
fully
do.
agree.
You know, like if you want to clap the players, I clap the players because I can clearly see it means to them. They're trying, but at the minute they're just not been good enough. And I can fully understand people that don't want to clap. I think for that bloody campaign to only last 2 weeks, for it then to go back and revert back to what it was, I think it's a disgrace, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I really think it's a massive disappointment. And that's why I think the next 2 home games, especially Saturday, as Reece said, back the club, back the team, back everyone involved, and deal with all of that rubbish in May when we can evaluate it, do the post-mortem and start looking forward to next season and what we need to do as a club to either improve in that league or start in a new division where, okay, right, we've gone down, let's try and get back up and let's make a positive push in the National League, which one it is. But a bit disappointed with that
If we
support.
go down, we do it together. If we have to come back up, we do it together.
I agree. So obviously, as we've said, 10 games to go. Newport this Saturday. As we know, it's a vital game. Every game's a vital game to the running. We've already said it before. There's 10 cup finals there. It's a bit of a difficult one because are we going to be able to see the team play in every one of the or is the team going to be playing behind closed doors, or what's going on, fellas?
I think the EFL rejected anything about behind closed doors because the match day revenue.
Idea, to be honest.
Too much money is going to come from match day revenue. I don't think they can afford to do that.
And no supporters either. And then what's the point in that?
Well,
You want to go and watch your club.
The problem is our club's a small club and we need those finances,
Yeah.
especially if we're not going to stay up. So it's we want that, and I think as us fans, for me as well, I want to see Stevenage play Football League football, and if we're not going to do it next season, I want to see us play every 90 plus minutes of these last 10 games and enjoy it, and enjoy seeing the club play in the Football League, and it's going to be difficult, but enjoy seeing the team and how we do, and if we can stay up and build more memories at the club, make more history. I don't know, but coronavirus, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
It's been a bit chaotic, but I think we'll be okay.
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, not in terms of
I think we're all getting it.
I mean, in terms of seeing our team play.
Yeah, bit of a difficult one. If it does somehow come to behind closed doors, I think we'll be standing outside the ground. Carlisle, on the last day of the season, we'll all be standing out with the drum, won't we? Goal goes in. Yeah. Good be for us to stay up. So before we move on, boys, I'm going to ask it now. Honest opinion before we move on. I'll answer mine last. We'll go Danny then Reece. Danny, do you think we're going to stay up with the 10 games we've got, the players that we've got coming back and the fixtures we've got? Honest opinion.
Yeah.
Any reason? Just think.
I just think that the way the players came over after Crewe, I feel like this is it. They're going to push on now. Even Rev said they're going to give it all they can. He's probably said that before, but I think he really means it now.
Yeah, I like that point.
There's no messing about, and I think the players are going to do everything they can now.
I like that answer, Dan. Reece, honest opinion, with the games we've got, with the game in hand and the 10 games to go.
It has to be yes or no, Reece.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think Danny makes a fair point in lessons well learned Saturday in terms of everything. I think Macclesfield will lose points, so yes.
Yeah, I like that. I, as an honest fan, and I've normally been called out for being deluded or overly positive in the past, I think we'll actually stay up.
I like how we've come off 8 consecutive losses and we're like, yeah, we're staying up, boys.
I actually think we'll stay up. I agree with you. I don't think that Macclesfield thing's over. I actually reckon they'll get deducted. Secondly, I can see us winning one of these games, whether it's Saturday or Tuesday or next Saturday away at Morecambe, which is a massive game for Stevenage. I think if we can win one game, turn the tide a little bit, give Revs, Mark and Russell, a winning foundation, give the players a bit of a confidence, because those players are taking their licks the last 9-10 games nearly. Get a win on board, cut the deficit to 5 points, releases the pressure a bit, puts more pressure on those sides, and when we play Macclesfield, I think we'll beat them, and I think we'll pick up some wins against those bottom sides. I'm convinced we'll beat Oldham for what's happened this season. I can see us beating Oldham. And I've got to be honest, I think we'll win on the last day of the season. I think we'll do it by a couple of points. But it's going to be tough. And look, we've got good enough players to get results because, there's players in this team which got the draws under Mark. So they've proven that they can get results, but it's doing it and it's winning a consecutive amount of games in the time that we've got.
There's no player in the team Saturday where I would have gone, he's not good enough to play. Not what in general in that team. He's not good enough for League Two. None of them, and that's why it's almost so much more frustrating and hard because they're good enough, ish. They're trying. It's painful, really.
Do you know what gets me? It gets me quite emotional because when I look at players like Paul Farmer, they should never be playing for a team that's bottom.
I feel sorry for Paul. That's not saying Paul hasn't made errors this season, and he has, but I do feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for Charlie. Yeah,
I feel sorry for a lot of them, and you can clearly see it hurts them. It hurts us fans. But I believe that something that's built our club over many years is a fighting spirit. And I think when the chips have been down for our Stevenage, we've always found some sort of momentum or fighting spirit. League One's a different kettle of fish. We're out of our depth in that division. Yeah. But I think that we'll find that real hardcore Stevenage spirit. One win, and I think we'll be back on track. One win changes. I'm telling you, not a draw. A draw's a draw. One win. Say, for example, it's this Saturday. Bear in mind, Newport have lost.
I think
Newport have lost their last. Listen, Newport have lost their last 6 away games,
and they can't score either.
Honestly, one win for our beloved Stevenage. These group of players change. This team changes. It gives the club some belief and hope. And with the fixtures that we've got, I think that we'll get the wins and we'll just about do it.
It also probably gives Rev some belief and hope because he's probably feels not out of his depth, but he probably feels swamped in it right now because of the situation he's walked into. One win and he's on top of the world again. He's got a winning team. He's got a team that's won again.
You got to think though, those players trying really hard on the pitch, and Rev said it in his interview, didn't he? The players have been training really hard, and he's seen a lot of good things. And I think that, look, I've seen it in football before. One win can change a whole season, and we've had 3 of them. All right, those 3 wins haven't really done anything previously, but I believe that one win, and I think it will change our season. And I believe we're going to do it this Saturday. I look at that game Saturday, and I think
see it happening Saturday.
Yeah, you know what? I look at that game Saturday, and I think Newport they've lost. Yeah, they've lost last night. I think they've lost their last 6 away games, which we've said that many a times and we've lost. But I believe that these players will really put in a shift and get us a win, and then we can move forward and go, right, now let's win the game in hand, let's beat Macclesfield, let's try a bit more, build up a bit of momentum, finish the season strongly with some important players coming back. So
one game at a
should be good. One game at a time indeed. So moving on, fellas. Obviously, it's going to be a bit different today. We're not going to do the League 2 roundup. That seems to be not really a theme that we've done a lot recently. We're just going to kind of...
It's because it's too depressing for us.
Because what's there to discuss? We're bottom of the table by 8 points. I think everyone knows the situation.
We're bottom.
How about we discuss my fantastic video?
I think we will in a bit. Now, questions. We haven't really received a lot of questions. No. So, are there any questions that you want to throw in?
Let's see if I can think of one.
Before we speak about other things going on.
Okay. Elliot List. It's quite clear he doesn't have enough impact on the game, but we know that he can have a huge impact if the right pass is made. He can come in behind. A, would you be playing him? And B, would you do it up top or out wide?
I've always thought that Elliot List could be a really good right wing player, but he hasn't really played there a lot. He's either been used through the middle or up top.
I don't think he has enough impact on the wing. I think as a winger you've got to get on the ball and almost dictate your man. And Elliot List isn't tall. He is quite strong. I'll give him that. In terms of pace, his acceleration 1 to 100 is probably better than anyone in the league. But his natural pace isn't the best, but I'm a real big fan of Listy, and I think he's a game changer because, as I said, one right pass, and if he's through, he's scoring.
I like him. I've always wanted to see him on the wing because many years at Bar, I've always seen a really good balance of wing players, and I'd like him taking on players and getting the ball in the box. But obviously, maybe he doesn't want to play there.
We haven't had proper wingers for ages. I mean,
no, we haven't done.
Charlie is a very, very good player and very creative, and I thought he had a good shift attacking wise Saturday, but you have the other side of you, and I think that kind of distorts things for him, and he shouldn't be in this situation where we're having to rely so heavily on his creativity. He's come in hoping we can develop his game, and he's been thrown into this.
Yeah, I agree. I like him as a player. I think he's got a lot of talent. My question, 2 names this season, just 2 names. Who is the most to blame of this season? 2 names
I've said this loads of times. Phil Wallace and Dino.
Phil Wallace and any reasons?
Well, Dino, obviously, he did sign some of the players, but also, Wallace didn't, I don't think, but we all know.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, but we do know Dino is responsible.
Dino would have had a say in some of them.
Obviously, the training and the way he trained the players was just too much for him. We all know that, and I think the players just didn't really get on with him. And I think once Samson came in, you can tell the players were putting in a shift more in every game.
100% agree. We started getting points, didn't we, under Samson?
Yeah, and I just feel the players, not blaming the players, but Dino started this season off, and it's still been going on, and Samson came in. You can't blame Samson because it's not his team. He didn't make these signings.
Why can't you blame the players?
Well, yeah, you could blame the players as well, I suppose. But in also Phil Wallace, what was I going to say about Phil? I forgot what I was going to say. As
a almost like a tree. He's at the top, isn't he, along with the directors and other inquiries.
That's the thing. Management recruitments and that. I just feel that we could have got an experienced manager out there.
Wesley was experienced.
Yeah, but going back in the past and bringing the past back.
Who would have been the right experienced manager then? Because Russell Slade, Ian Dowie are experienced. Doesn't mean I want them.
Do you know what?
Controlling. That's not.
No. We could have got managers like Derek Adams, who's manager more.
Look, honestly, in my opinion, I think Dino is definitely to blame. I think we've said this countless of times. The amount of that poor recruitment, the way the players were prepared. The fact that we ended that season with Ilias really transforming that team, and we went into this season and recruited a lower level non-league player to be our main point of call up front. We've said all that, of course, I partly blame it. I've said in the past, I blame Phil Wallace, not just for this season though.
Previous.
Shall I tell you, the one appointment that I was furious about when I think back now, it's not even the Sheringham appointment, it's the Gary Smith appointment. Shall I tell you why? Are you telling me a team that good, right? That bloody good, that team was
we had
almost invincible,
we had
right?
Players like Luke Freeman, Greg Tansey and all that.
Okay, that team with all those legend players, all right, they didn't have the best reputation in the world, right? They built up that hard team look where referees and other teams didn't look, and we had a reputation for ourselves. But are you telling me that after Wesley and Manria went to Preston, that Gary Smith was the best option to take? There could have been any manager to take that team.
I heard we could have got someone like Gareth Ainsworth back then.
So really, for me, the issues haven't just been this season. I've been seeing these issues for years,
got
actually.
Danny Cowley back then as well.
The Gary Smith appointment, when I look back to that, actually, what a joke that was. You could have had, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those managers would have loved that. Oh, need a top of League One. Oh, yeah, I'll have that job.
Do you know what
Gary Smith? For what, Colorado?
Do you know what the reason is for what's appointing him?
What,
Gary Smith.
well, I'd imagine knows the area from the chief.
Awful.
Yeah,
knows the
because
club.
I know Wallace has business in America, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he probably could have made a connection. But Gary Smith from Harlow, he knew Borough, he knew the club.
Yeah.
He's a local lad. He said in his interview as a manager, when he was younger, he said, go to the games. So it was a cheap option. Sheringham, again, joke. Look, I think there's a common denominator here and common factor, and that is, I think that there hasn't been a real care since those days about the football. Because to me, it seems like it's always been the new stand, which looks beautiful, love it. I'll probably get a season ticket in the next season. Love the stand. The training facility, brilliant, unbelievable training facility, Premier League standards, state of the art. Foundation's great, the academy's great. But in terms of the football, we've been appointing Sheringham, who had no managerial experience whatsoever. Gary Smith, who... I mean, did he have any football league experience as a manager?
No,
I don't think he did he?
Stuck in
Coach.
America.
Sol had a connection with the club, but at the time you could perceive Sol maybe Sol needs to do another job before.
I think we played good.
Sol had a good care.
Sol did. I'll give Sol his dues. There was a period under Darren Sol where he was good. He built a good team, but then he got rid of Lee and Schumacher and all went to pot, you know.
People make errors in football, and that's what really irritates me. That we're all going to jump on him. Oh, the football was... Well, we made an error. He was young. He's going to make an error.
Exactly. I like Sol. I think he's quite a good manager.
Honestly, that's where we are now because of post-Sol rather than post-Wesley the second.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, look at Sol now. I mean, it's 3 years since Luton away when Kennedy scored.
Kennedy's it there? Yeah, I see that. I watched that today in the car. Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it?
I mean, look, I would have... it's well documented. I would have kept Sol, but I understood why. But
probably wasn't ready for the.
But
the job.
yeah.
Well, shall I tell you where Wallace contradicted himself big time? When he appointed Dino, he said that I wanted to give Dino the job previously, but he had to prove himself somewhere else, right? And Dino was at Nuneaton. I'll get back to that point, but Darren Sol hadn't done that, and so I'm a bit confused why he went. Managers, they need to prove themselves before they come in. But I know Sol took over for a little bit of a period, but hadn't been elsewhere and managed, and
in Dino's interview on the Sacros, which was quite the watch. I was disgusted. He said Wallace.
I was disgusted.
I mean, that's another question in itself, isn't it?
I was disgusted.
He said Wallace phoned him up and said, "Blimey, Dino, you do a lot of winning. Are we really appointing managers based on winning alone? Is that it? Is that it? Oh, you win, you'll do.
Yeah.
Like, how has he not got someone in football to advise him on... I'm hoping before Revs got appointed, he got asked, what would you do to change things? Or something, but I don't think he has. And that's no offence to Revs. I'm happy Revs is in charge. But it just seems this is... Really, there's the lack of football knowledge is astounding.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I agree.
You do winning in the National League North. We need you.
Well, this is my point. He went. Dino. He had to prove himself, and he's proved himself. Really, Mr. Wallace? What? Nuneaton Borough, who are what conference level North?
We do.
Oh, that's proving yourself, is it? But not appointing an experienced football league manager.
Darren Sol proved himself in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He proved himself to win games and create a side, and then we've sacked him off because we've got a bloke who might win games. And okay, yes, I defended Dino a lot and his spell, but you look back on the decision and you can see from my tweets a while back, I don't know why you would, that a lot of people were cautious about this, and it was proved right. He ruined us.
The thing is when Saul was fired, that appointment was a really important appointment in my opinion, because Saul had built that, in my opinion, a really good team. Like, there were some really good players. He got Matty Godden, there was Danny Newton, there was Charlie Leisure. That team had real legs in it, and my problem
But
was...
that's the issue. When we didn't have legs.
Well, yeah, obviously,
yeah.
I wouldn't have got rid of those players, in my opinion.
He said on the radio the other week, looking back, he wouldn't have done, and that's how you grow as a manager. He was young. They know you just...
But this is my point. I think, honestly, that Darren Saul is a better manager than Mamria, because I think he's more relatable to the players, and I think what Saul does, Saul didn't do great in that second spell or third spell, whatnot. But what I like about Darren Saul, what I liked about Darren Saul, as you can see the amount of ex-Borough players he's got there, is he built a camaraderie between the players he had. And the one thing that Mamria did wrong is he built a farce there. So why I like Saul better is I think Saul builds a bond within teams, and I don't necessarily think players want to necessarily play for Mamria, but I bet you any money players would run through anything for Darren Saul when they played. I can cut even now. Look at Yeovil now. Run for anything for him.
When Saul got sacked, I believe we were 15th in the table or 16th.
I think we were 16th.
Why would you sack a manager when you're 15th in the table? Just because you lost a few games?
Look, I got the decision behind it. I wouldn't have done it, but we can look on that back now and go, that was an awful decision. At the time, maybe not so much, but...
now he's older, he's got more experience.
Well, look, I'll say this. The team were poor.
He knows what
in that
players
spell.
he could get. He knows a lot about the Football League now.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The loss at Port Vale, the draw at Port Vale, wasn't it? Where we let in the snow. That was his last game. Don't get me wrong, the team hadn't won in 9 consecutive away games. Don't get me, it was bad, but looking back, he's fired him.
We was never going down.
He's fired him, but if you're going to fire someone who's potentially in the future going to be a really successful manager, at least appoint a really good manager. Don't bring in someone who's a club legend, but he's managed Nuneaton. Bring in and then you can go, to be fair, Mr. Wallace, all right, you got rid of Saul, but look at this manager you brought in and look where the team is now. But that hadn't happened. It's gone down.
We sacked a young, unproven manager for a young, unproven manager, and then replaced him with a young, unproven manager, and then replaced him with Graham Wesley, who he then replaced with a young, unproven manager.
This season's been nothing short of a joke. Again, I go back to Danny. I thought Mark did well considering the resources he was given with.
I saw someone say it's Mark's fault the other week.
Well, ignore that, anti-Mark. But I actually think Mark did a really good job. Tell you what Mark did. He made us hard to beat. He got us many draws, many points, got us winning, got us into knockouts of a trophy competition, and actually built some good foundations. And just as I said about Darren Saul, he built quite a nice little camaraderie between the team. Wesley, everyone has the simple opinions of that. I actually like Alex Ravel being manager. I think he's the right Stevenage mind to be there. But to give him a job when he's got 12 games to go and he has to, it's going to be difficult
I
for him,
understood it in the fact that if you bring someone external in, they have to learn about the team, and I can understand that, and probably it would have been a hard push to find someone who would have come in.
Yeah, I completely
so
agree.
I got it, but it's just a mess. We should never have appointed Wesley. You, everyone, mostly everyone, knew that would backfire. There was no way that was ever going to
I think the only hope we took...
I wasn't sure about having Wesley back. I was hoping he'd do well, but at the same time, I was unsure.
I thought Graham would... The only hope I had is I thought, well, maybe given a few months, Graham will get wins with the fixtures we've got at the back end of the season.
Lost 8 or 9 in a row.
Do you know what game did it for me, actually? Do you know what game did it? Exeter in the Football League Trophy. Because after that game, I remember saying to loads of people, right, don't play full team on Tuesday. Don't do it. We've just won 4-0. Leave it and get them to Plymouth, because that will give good... And what did he do? Full team, ruined all the momentum, got beat. You were there, weren't you? Got beaten badly 3-0.
And he didn't even clap.
Wasted it. It was a wasted game. Ruined it.
Port Vale was really poor. Oldham at home, that was
should have beaten Oldham, shouldn't we? Leighton
The one for
Orient.
me was, like, properly, that damaged a lot of respect to have for the man was Exeter. I mean, he was having to be chanted at to make a sub. We were so poor, and then comes out the day after and says, "Oh, we played really well." No, we didn't.
Yeah. Do you remember Grimsby when he went? We had loads of shots, but what he didn't realise is 2 of them were on target. One of them was the goal.
What about Port Vale in the interview when he went? Well, Port Vale had a clear week when they played Tuesday.
And 7 corners.
Look, he went. Look. We all made a stat. The last couple of teams he'd managed, he took them down. One of them, Newport, he was taking them down, and then Flynn Stadium, and then he took another team down. I think it was Barnet. Yeah. Look,
even
the guy wasn't good enough. However, I like Revs, and I will say this about Revs. Next season, if no one wants the job, I'd be happy to see him give it a good go with a bit more budget. Because what I like about Alex Ravel is he's got a Stevenage mentality. He's got that hard. He was as a player. He ran through brick walls. But what I like about him, he's an intelligent head in football. He's played the game at a good level. But I like his head. I like the way that he talks about the club and talks about football and the team. I think he's got. I wouldn't be surprised if he continued to be a really good borough manager for us in the future.
There's a few things I want to see from him, but his success won't be determined on whether he keeps us up or not.
It's not his fault, is it? I mean, he can't do anything, can he, really?
If Revs doesn't get the job permanently, who would you bring in?
It depends what division.
Darren Sal.
Yeah, Darren Sal. In what league?
I would as well.
In what league?
If we stayed up or went down, like, let's just say...
If we stayed up, Revs gets the job, and that's not in our hands. He absolutely will.
Honestly, do you know what I'd do?
Or if we go down...
Do you know what I'd honestly do? I'd possibly even give him the job either way, to be fair.
Really?
But what I would do
Even if we lose every game?
No, maybe not, but I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think it'll happen either.
I don't think that'll happen. I think
Sol is on my list.
Look, either way, if we stay up, it's going to be close, and if we go down, I think it'll be close. So either way, I wouldn't actually mind if Revs if Revs stayed in the setup at least. Yeah, at least. But I'd keep him there.
He still has the youth role, doesn't he?
Yeah, we've still got that, but he might not want to go back to that now that he's progressed into this role.
Going back to the original question, we blame Phil Wallace.
Phil Wallace. That was my reason for it.
I blame Ilias Chair.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. He covered so many cracks.
Yeah, he did.
In so many ways, I blame Ilias Chair.
Yeah, I did. Although it was, but we blame him. But God, we'd have him back. When we finish Saturday, we'd have him back.
We'd probably stay up if we brought him back.
We probably would. Right, boys. Been going for nearly 50 minutes. We're going to close it off soon. A couple of things just to talk about. Fan of the season. Do you know who won it, Danny?
Well, I'm going to have to. I am a celeb, and
Oh, do you not know who won it? It's already been done.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be me.
Loyal?
So basically, we put forward...
All right, celebrity of the season.
Well, that's Danny Lusby. Actually, I might do that, actually. Basically, on poll, we did like a little bit of fun. Fan of the season, put forward your nominations.
People didn't find it fun.
Let me guess, this gentleman won.
He won it. Him, Jay Drakford, Steve Watkins and David Valentine.
Congratulations.
Reece won the vote, so Reece has won it. So Reece at the... Do you know what? I'm going to do things a little bit differently. So... The award isn't going to be given at the end of the season, the bash, unless there is. If not, I'm going to hand it to him in Newcastle on the last day of the season. We will award you with that. It's got a lot of uproar, but we don't care. People need to grow up.
Can I big up Steve Watkins? I'm a big fan of Steve Watkins.
Go on. The hedgehog, they call him.
Yes.
Go on then.
Steve, big fan of you, mate. I hope you watched my video, and I hope you want a selfie with me on Saturday as well.
He'll get you on SG1 Radio, Dan, now you're
please.
a celeb.
I'll be honoured to come on SG1 Radio.
No, but you don't just go on. He should be paying you to come on now. Or you need an agent to sort that out, Dan. You don't do that.
Dean Thompson and Jay Drakford on SG1.
Probably get Jay on the podcast, actually.
I will just say the 3 others in the vote and many other Borough fans could have won it.
There's only one Steve Watkins. One Steve Watkins.
Shut up.
Loyal, Borough Loyal.
Who's that, Matt? Do you know what he looks like?
Well, I do now that we were there and crew. God, I got a lot of shot down for that. Other things just to quickly mention. the Stevenage Football Club podcast charity summer footy event. The Farleys 11 are going to absolutely annihilate the Donnelly's 11.
No, well,
all of us
semi-pro
boys, come on the semi-pro boys, getting the band back together. But yeah, Stevenage Football Club podcast charity match at Ware FC, Sunday the 3rd of May. Kick-offs are 11 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. The bar's going to be open, T-bar, barbecue, raffle. Please get involved. The kits are being ordered. Teams are done. We are under 2 months away now for the event. So if you want to get involved with the event, please get in contact with us. It's going to be a £5 entry on the door. So yeah, please come down to Ware FC on Sunday the 3rd of May. And watch the event. It'll be brilliant. And if you want to see a Farley's 11, I'll win. Yeah.
Fully fit Danny Lusby.
Danny Lusby. Put him centre half, son.
Yeah.
Put him centre half. Other things to mention, the League 2 podcast. I haven't heard too much about that recently, but we are going to be doing that. So got to somehow work out how we're going to do it. Again, if you want to get involved with that, there'll be more details in the coming weeks.
Before we go, can we show my video, please?
The thing is, we can, but we can't, unfortunately.
We're
recording with all the equipment and microphones. So,
what if I get it on my phone?
Well, you haven't got time, Danny.
Of course we do.
I'll tell you what.
No one wants to see the video.
For the listeners, what we'll do, go to Twitter, go to the Stevenage Football Club podcast Twitter page, and please watch the video. We are 50,000 away from 1 million views, and we've had a few celebs comment and like, and it would be great if you could go and view it. I will put Danny's video in the link of the podcast. How about that, Dan?
Yes.
Then go watch it. Brilliant.
Brilliant idea.
Thanks to all listeners for coming on today's podcast. Bit of a different setup, just quickly discussing the last 10 games. Boys, before we go, and I know I've already asked it and we've said, yeah, we think we're going to stay up. That last game, Carlisle, now we've all booked to go to Newcastle for an end of season bash for a couple of nights. What are the scenes going to be? Celebration or relegation?
Celebration.
It's gotta be celebration,
That pitch,
isn't
I'm going straight to the dugout and jumping on Alex Ravel.
Oi, he's mine.
Are we asking?
Back off.
Are we asking the players out to Newcastle? Like they'll go.
Oh,
Yeah, players are coming to Newcastle.
I will say this. I bet you they've already booked something like that.
Just in case.
I reckon. Last game of the season, we are going to be doing something a little bit special. Actually, a couple of hours before kick-off, we're going to be doing. It's funny you say that. We are going to be doing a live podcast, fans view, to get everyone's kind of memories of the season and whatnot, and talk to some different Borough fans.
Yeah, it's been an amazing season.
So we're going to get to Brighton Park, have a few pints, probably drunkenly, and do some videos and connect us people and really make a day of it, because that could be our last game in the Football League. I'm hoping it's not, but
on the connecting thing, let's try and reignite the Stevenage for League football campaign, however you may want to.
Yeah, take a step back on Saturday.
We've took 2 steps back. Let's take 5 more forward.
Back the club, back the players, back the stamp, back the campaign. That's what I'm trying to say.
Let's do this.
Thank you to all the listeners for listening to episode number 32. We'll be back next week discussing Borough's 2 home games. Saturday against, I forgot who we're playing.
Newport,
thank you very much, please. And Tuesday against Swindon before the absolute carnage. Seeing Stevenage play away at Morecambe and the night out in Blackpool. It's going to be mental. Thanks to all the listeners. If you want to get involved with the Stevenage Football Club podcast charity football match, please comment and get involved. Have a lovely weekend. We'll hopefully see you all Saturday for a massive 3 points and Tuesday for a big result, and go on to that massive game against Morecambe away and hopefully see our Stevenage make a late run for it. So it would be nice. Have a lovely weekend. You have been listening to the Stevenage Football Club podcast.